Hello, Pam. How are you this evening? Hello, other Pam. I got Pam 1 and Pam 2. Hang on, I'm moving you. Hello, Stacy. Hang on, I'm moving you. Don't get seasick. Yes, now to wait for Marty. Let's see here. Oh, my back itches. Ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, ooh. There she is. This is my Martini Rini. And we'll give it just a couple more minutes because I think there were a couple more people that wanted to be here. Did everybody have a good day? A happy Thanksgiving? Yes, a happy Valentine's Day. Oh. Well, I was going to use this color right here, but I think that's going to make Marty puke. So we won't use that color. I'll use this color instead. You got roses and candy. Yay. Good for you, special girl. Okay. all of you that are here that are learning, do you know about how like DMC floss and embroidery floss has 6 strands to it? And to do the first step, the first stitch that I'm going to show you, I'll use all 6 just to show you, but when it comes to putting it, yeah, but when it comes to actually using the this stem stitch in my little fish design, I'll only use 3 strands. So need my needles. Well, that's kind of why I wanted to use a little bit of a darker color, Marty. But I thought this blue would be okay, but I think it's going to be too pale. I think it's going to be too pale. I'm going to have to use a darker color. Instead of purple, I'm going to use a darker blue. I don't know. I think that'll be too pale too. Maybe I'll use the dark green. I don't want to use the variegated because when it gets light, it'll get pale. How about green? When it gets light, it still stays green. Can you see that? I think the green will work. We'll try it with the green. Or, oh, get a better idea. Let's try it with the maroon. I was just going to say, I'm going to try it with the maroon. Yeah, we can see the maroon. So I'm going to try it with the maroon. Okay. So you want to cut off from your fingertips to just above your elbow when you're using floss. You don't really want want to cut off any more than that because it will get tangled. And that's a bummer when that happens. You want to use a needle with a big enough eye that will accommodate all 6 of your strands. Not the end of your thread. Ta-da! And there we go. Oh boy. Okay. Now to do the stem stitch, I did a couple of easy stitches to learn to start to begin with one intermediate stitch. Your stem stitch, you're going to come up at A. So from the back to the front, you're going to come up through. Actually, let me move this. You're going to come over about 1/8 of an inch. And instead of stabbing, which means going from the top to the back, and then from the back to the top, you're going to stay on the top of your fabric. You go over about 1/8 of an inch and go back to A, where you came up from. Then your next stitch from this point here to over about 1/8 of an inch, you're going to bring your needle down through the fabric and then back up to that point. Did everybody see that okay? And pull your thread up through. You're always going to want to keep your thread to one side or the other, not back and forth, because eventually what you want to get is this rope-like look. This is called the stem stitch, Marty. It's used in vines, and it's used in outlines. You're welcome. So again, I'm going to go over about 1/8 of an inch and go just to the point of the thread. Go in and come out. Again, just to the point of the thread. Go in and come out. Thread on the bottom, over 1/8 of an inch, to the point of the thread. Okay, Stitch It Pam, not a problem. Have a good night. And that's how you do the stem stitch. To finish off a stem stitch, you'll stab down, you'll go over your 1/8 of an inch, you'll stab down your fabric and come out on the back side. Turn it over and make a knot. You'll come through that last stitch, make a loop, and then take your needle through the loop and pull. And you do that twice. Take it through the last stitch, make a loop, put the needle through the loop and pull. And that's how you make your knot. That is your very classic stem stitch. There are more intricate stem stitches, but this is just the beginner one. And this is the only one you'll need for doing my little fishy that I drew out. That's the stem stitch. And that's only a pencil. I would actually use a very, very extra fine tip marker to write what the name of it is on there. This is just your little sample page. Okay. Did everybody understand that? Is there anything you'd like me to go over again? Answer. I guess that meant everybody understood. Okay. After you make your knot, you want to cut your thread free. Okay. It is way easier with less strands. I'm just using the thicker amount of strands so that you can see it on the camera, on the computer, on the monitor, on your phone, whatever. And it also depends on the size fabric. What size fabric am I using? Believe it or not, this was just an old pillowcase. It was an old pillowcase that was in my mother's fabric stash. This size hoop is a, you know what? I can measure it real quick. I think it's a 7. It's either a 6 or a 7-inch hoop. Hold on. Let me get my little ruler and I will measure it. This is a 6-inch hoop. When I actually do my design for my little stitch book, I will be using a 4-inch hoop. And that's fine, Pam. Use a 7-inch hoop. Use whatever hoop you've got available to you. The only reason when I use my design, when I make my design that I'm going to use a 4-inch hoop is because it allows me to draw my design closer to the size of the stitch book that I need without going over. If I were to draw it on an inch hoop, I would forget what my boundaries are and I would draw it way too big. I'm doing my practice stitches on a 7-inch hoop, but I have the design somewhere over there. have my design in a little 4-inch hoop. I drew my design on a 4-inch hoop. And this little 4-inch hoop costs $1.75 at Hobby Lobby. My little fishy, you like my little fishy? Okay. And Marty, I'm using my pink book and not the periwinkle one because the periwinkle one has purple pages and the pink book has pink pages. So I did that in honor of you, honey. Okay. So are we good with the stem stitch? Okay, the next stitch is the back stitch. Hi, Joni. We're just learning some stitches tonight. We just learned how to do the stem stitch, and now I'm going to go through how to do the back stitch. Very good idea, Marty. Very good idea. Okay, so with the back stitch, this is point A. You come up from the back to the front. Whoops, I forgot to make a knot in my thread. Hold on. So for the back stitch, you come up at point A from the back to the front. You want to take, depending on the size of your design, you want to take anywhere from 1/8 of a stitch to 1/4 of an inch of a stitch. You really don't want to go any longer than that in doing a back stitch because you won't be able to get a good curve if there happens to be a curve in your line. So I'm going to go to about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to go down, I'm going to stab it down through. I'm going to come back up about 1/4 of an inch away. Whatever size stitch is the amount of space you want your next stitch to be at. So I did 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to come up 1/4 of an inch away from my stitch. And go back down where the stitch was, where that original stitch ended. And stab it through to the back. And again, you want to come up 1/4 of an inch away from the back to the front, then from the front to the back at the end of the stitch. Come up 1/4 of an inch away from the back to the front. and then go back down where that other stitch ended. And that is called your back stitch. Does anybody need me to keep going with the back stitch? Do you need to see anything different? Were my fingers in the way? Any questions? Okay. And again, to knot it off, you have your thread to the back, go through the stitch, bring your needle through the loop and pull. Go through the stitch, bring your needle through the loop and pull. And that was the back stitch. You're welcome very much. Okay, then the third stitch is the buttonhole scale stitch. No, it's not the buttonhole, it's the, sorry. It's the blanket scale stitch, not the buttonhole scale stitch, scale stitch. And it's a variation of the blanket stitch. So I'm going to see if I can do this with a little bit less thread. So I can struggle a little bit less pulling it through the fabric. Not the buttonhole scale, the blanket scale. It's a variation of the blanket stitch. It's the blanket scale stitch. Now this stitch is used when you've got like a fish scale, a mermaid scale. What's the difference? Well, I'm going to show you. The blanket stitch is used along straight edges. And this one, this blanket scale stitch is used on a curved edge. So you want to start at the middle bottom of your arch Is that as blurry as I think it is for you guys? Okay. So you're going to start at the bottom of the arch in the middle, and you're going to come from the back to the front. And again, I make a knot in my thread. Hold on. Let me make a knot in my thread. Yeah, it's blurry. I don't know. How about if I come up again? Oh, let me try this. Hold on. Oh. Okay, there, that's not bad. So you can see where the needle is at the base of the arch in the middle, from the back to the front. And you're gonna, what the heck happened to my thread? The towel dragged my thread out of my needle. I didn't even know it. It just surprised me. What the heck happened to my thread? Okay, let's try that again. So we got the needle coming up through the base of the arch in the middle. You're going to put your thumb over the thread to create a loop. You're going to go down in that same hole that you came out of and come up at the beginning of your arch. On top of that loop, you're going to pull, and that's going to create a chain stitch. That's your first stitch of a buttonhole stitch for a scale. Did you get that, Marty? Do you need to see me do it again? Not buttonhole. You're right. Blanket. Sorry, Stacy. I don't know why I keep saying buttonhole. It's blanket. But that is the first stitch for your blanket stitch when you're doing the scale. You want to keep your thumb over the thread. Keep your thumb over the thread to create a loop. Again, you're going to go down the same hole that you started with, and you're going to come up ever so slightly next to the stitch you just created on the arc. And you're going to push your needle through above the loop, and it will have created another stitch for you. This is still blurry. I am so sorry. I might not be able to do these with this phone. And you keep going in that way, in that manner. You hold the thread with your thumb, go down in the first hole you made, come up at the arc over the loop and pull through. And you keep going all the way around your arc, down at the hole, up at the arc, over the loop, pull through. That is still really blurry. I'm sorry, guys. With this phone, I don't know. Stacy and I, poor Stacy, she went through for an hour one night. I think it seems like. I think it's because the fabric is so white. I did. I even went on YouTube and I even Googled it. My phone does not have an autofocus. It doesn't even have ability. It doesn't have that option. It doesn't have that ability. I got a cheap ass phone. Tick me off. For the price I paid for it, it should have at least something I could do to control whether or not it's blurry. It's perfect now. Marty, do you need me to do that stitch again? Don't move. Because I can do it again, Marty, if you need me to do the stitch again. It's not blurry now. You can see it. I'm not moving. Okay, once you get to the end of the arc, your needle and your thread are going to be at the top, of the loop. Are going to be at the top of the loop. Right there. And what you're going to do is you're going to need to lock that loop in. So instead of ending your thread down here at the base, you're going to end your thread right next to where you just came out of and go down to the back. That locks that last loop in. And yes, you end the same way. You go through the stitch, create a loop, go through the loop, and pull. Go through the stitch, create a loop, go through the loop, and pull. And that's how you create your knot. Now, if you saw my community tab, you saw my little fishy, which you could have traced or copied or taken a snapshot of and then printed it out and drew it yourself, or any myriad of ways that I don't know how to do you could have done. Whoops, and this is the blanket scale stitch. Can everybody see my little fishy? Yeah, fishy, fishy, fishy. Okay. So this is a design I came up with to encompass all three of those stitches. The stem stitch is going to outline the fins and the body. Just the outline. That's where your stem stitch will go. The back stitch is going to be the lines in the fins. All those lines. And then the blanket scale stitch would be his scales, obviously. And then a French knot for his little eyeball. And I forgot about his little fishy lips. You could probably just do a quick little satin stitch on his little fishy lips. So did that Did I explain all the stitches well enough for you, Marty? Were you able to at least see them enough to be able to do them? I explained it well enough for you to be able to do them? Okay. I'm sorry my camera is so blurry with the light colored fabric. Maybe I should use a darker colored fabric with a lighter colored thread. Yeah, I can show you how to do a satin stitch. I can show you that. As soon as I get some more thread on my needle. I can show you how to do that. Let me get some thread on my needle. There we go. That's threaded. Let me get a knot on the back side. Now, you're right, since I added the lips, let me entertain you. Okay, for the satin stitch, you've always got two sides of contact, the front and the back. You've always got a front and a back. So you want to come up from the back, at the bottom. Let me hold it up here so you can see. So you want to come up from the back on the bottom line. You do have a front and a back. And you want to make a straight line to the top line and go down. Then on the bottom, you want to come up extremely close to the stitch you just made. Almost as if you were going in the same hole, but not. Just very, very close to it. And go back at the top the same way, very, very close to the stitch previous. And that's all there is to that stitch. Very, very close. Again, you come up at the bottom. Very, very close. And go in at the top. Very, very close. Come up at the bottom. Like they do lettering. I don't know, Stacy, I have never done lettering. Is that how they do lettering? One hair, just about one hair. Yes, Marty. One thread. One thread space away. And it actually fills in your space. It's like coloring in your space. Well, they are smaller, so definitely go smaller. And what I would do is, let me get a pin here. Instead of doing the satin stitch, I would hold the fish with the lips facing me and consider this the up and down motion. Very, very small and then wider and wider. You just want to fill in that little lip area. Because if you do it this way, this little area here and this little area here, you're gonna have a hard fish lips, yeah. Yeah, so you wanna hold it this way and have this be the bottom, the top, the bottom, the top, and just get smaller and smaller and then larger and larger. There. Now, once you get those two things done, you get your little stitch sample and you have your design all done. You're going to want to tack them into your stitch book. Oh, this blurriness is me up a flippin' wall. It was clearer last week. I don't know why it's so blurry this week. I didn't touch any of the settings. I kept them all the same. Okay, what you're gonna wanna do well, first let me knot off my thread here. Go through the loop and pull. Go through the loop and pull. Cut the thread. All right. You're going to want to create a little tip-in. So you will take your scissors and you will cut a square around your sample stitches. This is driving me up a wall. It wants me to be, I have a gremlin in my phone. That's what it is. And I also want to cut my design out. In whatever shape I want to, but allowing for enough space around the edges to tack down the design. I'm not going to cut out my little fish yet because I still need to embroider him, her, it. So yes, the stem stitch is the outline of the fish, the outline of the body and the fins. Don't stem the lips or you won't have anything, you just won't be able to do it. Just stem stitch the outline of the body. The back stitch is the lines that give definition to the fins. Yeah, Pam, what kind of phone do you use to do your live with, to do your streaming with? Do you use your laptop for your videos? My laptop doesn't have a camera on it. Okay. So you've cut out square for your sample stitches and you've labeled them. And this ugly little creature is going to pretend to be my little design. So what you first want to do is tack down your design on your page. And what I did was I used, you love my green nails, thank you. What I did is I used somebody read my mind, French knots. Or you can just use little stay stitches and tack them down. Do you know what French knots or little stay stitches are? Made by Pam knows what a stay stitch is. She's a sewer. She's a seamstress. Okay, a stay stitch is like a mini satin stitch. It's, you kind of go in the same spot 2 or 3 times, and it makes the thing, it makes your piece stay down. You know what a baste is? Yeah, I guess you could use a basting stitch if you wanted to. Make it a color that matches your design, and that would match. Gee, now that you say that, maybe that's what I want to use too now. Yeah. You can baste it or use stay stitches or French knots just to hold your design down on your page. And then on one side and one side only, you'll put your stitches and you'll tack them down on just one side. so that you can move that, see what your design is, and what it will tell you what your stitches were that you practiced and where they are in the design. And then all you have to do is flip that over and see your beautiful design underneath it. Yes, like sewing a 2-hole button without the button. You just go back and forth in the same spot over and over. My mother told me that's called a stay stitch. So does everybody understand now how that will work? Oops, would help if I was in frame, wouldn't it? A week later, Marty has a stitch 6 inches sticking up. I don't get it, but okay. Here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to cut another piece of thread, and I'm going to show you what a stay stitch is. You didn't say when to stop. Yes, I did. I said 2 or 3 times in the same spot. So, like this. And put a knot at the end of your thread. You have inspired you. Okay, so the needle's going to come up from the back to the front. And you're going to go over about 1/8 of an inch and go down. And then you're going to come up in the same spot that you came up in the before, or very, very close to it. And go down in the same spot that you just went down in. And come up in the same spot. Can you see what I'm doing? And then go down in the same spot. And that was 3 times, and that should be good enough. And then you do it again here and here and here and here, all the way around, and you tack down your design. Does that better explain what I meant by a stay stitch, Marty? Well, you want to take it off the hoop and you're going to cut it out. It's not going to be on the hoop. you're going to cut it out of the hoop. And you're going to leave a little bit of a seam allowance all the way around your design. Oh, you're going to stitch without the hoop. Oh, see, I found the hoop made it a lot easier. Yes, the hoop keeps your lines straighter and it keeps your satin stitches from puckering the fabric, and it keeps your blanket stitches from puckering the fabric. You definitely want to have tension on your fabric, Pam. What size hoop do you have, Pam? I use the large one to practice my stitches, so I have a lot of space to practice on. But I've got this little 4-inch hoop to do my designs on. Okay, Stacy, thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming into my craft space and joining me. Come again soon, next Tuesday, doing the same thing. For anyone else that, do you have any more questions? You're heading out? Okay, good night. Sleep sweet. Thanks for joining me in my craft space. They're only half of the set. What do you mean only half the set? Oh, you don't have the inner hoop. Oh, that's a bummer. Oh, no. Well, they're useless without both rings. So if you don't have both rings, you might as well just get rid of them. That's what I have. Actually, mine's bamboo, but yeah. Hi, kitty. You want to come say hi, Mama? You want to say hi to Mama? Come on. Come on up. Stormy, where'd you go? There you are. Come on. Come on. Come on. You want to come up? Come on. Come. Okay, well, if you don't want to come up, yeah, you can use the small wooden one. Come on. There's your good girl. Is that my Velcro kitty? Yes, that's what I have. It's a 4-inch hoop. Because if you're following the dimensions I made, I gave you with your stitch book, you want a 3 to a 3.5-inch design. So a 4-inch hoop is actually perfect. Oh, that's a pretty girl. Is your mama Velcro kitty? Yes, it's your mama Velcro kitty. People's gonna see your ears. No? Okay, nobody sees your ears. Okay. Mwah. This is a good kitty. So, yeah, you can do your practice stitches and then cut them out. And then you might have copied your fish too large. Copied your fish too large. Did you just draw it from the picture that I had? Or did you take like a screenshot of it and then print it out? And trace the fish. Well, if you have a printer that can scale things up and down, you can scan it and then make it smaller. That was a great way to trace it, though. That's perfect. Oh, baby girl. Yes, you're my Velcro kitty. Because you can decrease, if you have a printer that'll do that, not all printers will do that. Mine, fortunately, does that. That's awesome. Marty, are you all set? Okay, good. That's a great idea, Pam. That's a great idea. Do we have any other questions? Or any other thoughts? You don't? Pam, do you have any other questions or thoughts? Okay. And you both can message me anytime if you do have some questions, and I will try to answer them for you. But since we both seem to be, yeah, next week, I'm going to try to do something about this blurriness. I'm actually going to go back to where I bought the phone in the first place and see what they can do. Maybe they can help me. I don't know, but this blurriness is driving me absolutely insane. When I get it, I know I will. Naomi? What? Who the heck is Naomi? Who the heck is Naomi? Okay. I don't remember that from the electric company, but okay. Oh, I hope they do too, Pam. I'm so excited to get them. I'm so excited to get them. Okay, well, if there's no other questions and we think we got it down. I know, I saw them when she held them up when they were all done. I was like, oh, they look like they'll fit. I'm so excited. Okay, Kitty, you're hurting my shoulder. You got to get down now. They look like they'll fit. I'm so excited. Okay. It was a long afternoon for me. And I'm starting to yawn. I'm going to try to have a good sleep. It's the sleep medication that was making me so sick, and they told me not to take it anymore. So hopefully I'll get some sleep. I'm going to take some melatonin and see if that helps. Good night, Pam. I think Joni already left, honey. Good night, Pam. Good night, Marty. Good night, Mary Ellen. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy. Good night, friends. Thank you for joining me. It was really a lot of fun. I had a really good time. Have a blessed night.